The slave of the Khalifa, Alauddin al-Tabarasi, the slave of the Khalifa, owned a property worth over 300,000 dinars. That's the slave of the Khalifa. When it was time for Eid Salat, the people would wait for the Khalifa to come, and then once he sits down, then they have Salat al-Eid. Just imagine our Eid Salats. And it is recorded around this time that the Khalifa had so many slaves and people working in front of him, they didn't make Eid Salat till 12 o'clock midnight, waiting for him to sit. And then they made Eid Salat. Poverty in the land. One Muslim state fighting another one. The Khalifa is only a symbol of leadership and not really a serious leader. At that point, then the change comes down. A major purification comes. And we look at the words of the Prophet ﷺ, who did not speak from himself. He spoke from above 7 heavens, and he told us an authentic hadith reported by Abu Dawood, Ummati hadhihi ummatun marhuma. Laysa alayha adhabun fil akhirah, adhabuha fid dunya. Al-fitan wa zalazil wal qatl. The Prophet ﷺ said, this my nation is a nation that has mercy on it. Its punishment is not in the next life, but the punishment is in the dunya. It's in this world. What would it be? Fitan, zalazil, qatl. Fitan, the plural of fitna. A trial, a tribulation, temptation. Look at the world today. We are surrounded by fitna. Temptation in our eyes. Temptation in our ears. Drugs pouring into our streets all around us. People confused about their identities. Our children growing up confused about themselves. Zalazul, earthquakes. A study was done of the earthquakes in the last 20 years that were over 6.0 on the Richter scale. And they found out the majority of these earthquakes were Muslim countries. It's the majority. And qatl, murder. That we would be killed, our blood would be cheap. And sadaqa Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, it has come to pass. What does this mean to us? Not that we should become depressed, because Allah has blessed us with solutions to our problem. If we wake up. With the great contradictions, Allah Azza wa Jal has revealed to us in Surah Al-Hashr, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wal tandur nafsun ma qaddamat lighad wattaqullah. Inna Allaha khabirum bima ta'malun. Wa la takunu kalladhina nasullaha fa ansahum anfusahum. Ulaika humul fasiqun. This is the verse. This one has a divine answer. Allah said, O you who believe, have the consciousness of Allah, and let every soul look to what it has put forward for tomorrow. Everybody has to do that. What did you do for tomorrow? And fear Allah. Surely Allah is well aware of all that you do. And be not as those who forgot Allah, and so He made them forget themselves. Surely they are the disobedient ones. So here in this verse we see, لا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم. One letter is added to the verb. You forget Allah, He's going to make you forget about yourself. And so your wealth will not come to feed the poor. It'll feed horses. Or it'll feed the lotto. Or the casino. It will build large buildings. As the Prophet ﷺ said, يَتَطَاوَلُونَ فِي الْبُنْيَانِ. They will compete against each other, building large buildings. We see the Bedouin doing this today. Your armies will not come to the assistance of the oppressed. Your soldiers are there, and they want to do something. But the leadership is holding them back. It's holding them back. This is a contradiction. the scholars argue over trivia, furor, minor issues, when they agree on the usuls. But they might struggle, and some innocent people come into Islam, and the first thing they teach him is how to argue against somebody else. How to disprove somebody. Get the hujjah alayhi. He doesn't even know how to make salat. And you teach him how to argue about a minor issue within Islam. And the Prophet ﷺ has told us, مَا ضَلَّ قَوْمًا قَطْ بَعْدَ هُدَى إِلَّا أُوتُوا الْجَدَلِ. People would not go astray after guidance. This is after they're guided. Until they were given the ability to argue with each other. Argumentation. So this is the contradiction. Do not be as those who forgot Allah. He will make you forget yourself. You won't even realize the potential you have. We don't realize the potential we have in our hands. What is around us? But we need to look into ourselves. Because we cry. We cry for a political solution. We have groups that will talk about the Khalifa all day about the Khalifa. We cry for Islamic economy. We want Islamic bank. Somewhere to put our money. We cry for Islamic social life. We want new style hijab. But what did Allah say? Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change that which is in themselves. This has been our watchword for a long time. We've been studying this and seeing how it comes to pass. When we look into the internal Muslim, inside of ourselves, instead of just looking on the outside, we start with ourselves, into our hearts. Because the Prophet ﷺ said there's a lump of flesh. If it goes right, the whole body is right. If it is corrupted, the whole body is corrupted. And that is the heart. Inside of ourselves. How do we relate to other Muslims? Do we look at the Muslim first? He says, Assalamu alaikum. Brother, where do you come from? You speak Arabic. You speak Urdu. What's your passport? What city do you come from? Sometimes even what masjid do you pray in? Because I want to judge him. Instead of accepting him, and a Muslim is innocent until proven guilty. A Muslim is innocent, safi, pure. That's how you relate to other Muslims. And then if we see something wrong with that person, then we try to help that person. But we do not make judgment on a person before we even know why the person is doing what he's doing, where he has learned it from, what is his condition, before we make a hukum, a judgment on that person. So we need to look into ourselves. Too much tribalism. Tribalism and nationalism. And I'm speaking to myself as well. Because even people in North America, we have a tribalism. Those who come from the north, those who come from the south, those who come from big cities, those who come from country. We have our own forms of tribalism as well. But it is something in the Muslim world, a filthy thing in the Muslim world. And we see it, and instead of it getting better, in some places it's worse, man. Where people will split from the masjid and then make an ethnic masjid. So you go in one masjid, and I'm not talking about Sydney, of course, but you go in one masjid and it's like you're in India. It sounds like India, even smells like India. You go in the other masjid and you're in Istanbul. You're in Istanbul now, in the masjid, man. Another one, you're in Somalia. Another one in Lebanon. Another one in Pakistan. All different types of masjids coming up. And then one group breaks away and they form another masjid, and we talk to them and we say, what is wrong with those people? And they say, no, those people in our village, they live by the river. We live on the hill. So we cannot unite with these people. They live down by the river. Okay? So a tiny little difference in people is brought now out and then in the lands of non-Muslims, where we should all be united, hanging on to the rope of Allah Azza wa Jal together, that little difference becomes a masjid. This is the work of the evil one. Wal-iyadhu billah. And we should not be proud of ourselves. Not arrogant and proud about physically what we have. Because physically this can change overnight. One day we are healthy and strong. The next day we could be on our backs. We could be struck down with disease. Or we could leave this world, wa'iyadhu billah. We could die, and then if you're rich and you're powerful, nobody wants to go in the grave with you. No matter how beautiful you are, no matter how good cricket player you are, they're not going down there with you.